Year-old pacing sensation Cam's Card Shark goes.
It's dominated, but Steve Lamson, the points leader, has been the most consistent.
Well, we called him earlier Mr. Consistency. And Steve Lamson is not only consistent, but he now is aggressive. He's winning races. He won the race at Budds Creek. And when you have that combination of aggressiveness and consistency, it'll be tough to beat.
What about Doug Henry, his teammate, the defending champion?
Well, you know, he was diagnosed earlier as having a stomach virus problem, and they figured they had that handled. But then at Budds Creek, in the heat, he faded. If he's going to win this championship again, he's going to have to get on top of his physical conditioning.
Well, there are 9 rounds left, and let's take a look at how the points stack up. As you look at it, the top 4 riders separated by only 29 points. In fact, with that tie for 5th, 5 of the top 6 have won motos. The only one left out so far is Ryan Hughes.
Well, you know, Ryan Hughes last year was plagued by injuries and crashes and so on, but this year he's been strong. He's also consistent. If he can now win, as Steve Lamson's doing, he'll be tough.
Well, it's a tough racetrack. Let's take a look at it.
It has a wide open uphill start like a lot of these tracks, but the most distinctive feature is the Bradshaw doubles, named after retired Yamaha factory rider Damon Bradshaw. Very similar to Supercross jumps.
And the riders are getting ready. There's a look at Steve Lamson on number 4 plate on your left. He is the points leader. He holds a 14-point edge over Damon Huffman. We'll be back for the start of Moto 1 after this.
Get serious about motorcycling. Join the American Motorcyclist Association for serious fun and great benefits. Like American Motorcyclist, read the difference every month. Helping Hands, 8,000 riders and shops helping others in trouble. Trip routing and motorcycle rental. Guaranteed lowest rates on non-motorcycle travel. Great savings on insurance. Government relations experts fighting for your right to ride, and a whole lot more. For serious motorcycle fun, call 1-800-AMA-JOIN. That's 1-800-AMA-JOIN.
Hey, I'm talking to you. The purpose of technology is not to confuse the brain, but to serve the body. To make life easier, to make anything possible. It's the coming of the new technology. For the purpose of technology is not to confuse the brain, but to serve the body.
The latest bikes, the hottest wheels, the greatest finishes.
That's all I ever wanted.
It's time to ride your own race. Get on the fast track to success by calling Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. Endorsed by all 5 major manufacturers, the professionals at MMI will provide you with the training to finish first.
1 year after graduation, and I'm working for the 2-time and current AMA National Championship GT Endurance Road Race team, Team Moto Liberty.
This is the call that can change your life. Take the first step to MMI.
Welcome back to Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, and yes, 20 years of Fox Racing with some of the snazziest apparel you're going to see on the circuit. Now, they've done something very special this weekend for the 20th anniversary. They've gone back, outfitted their 3 riders in the old colors.
It's kind of unprecedented these days to have 3 guys from 3 different factories wearing the same color uniform, but it's the 20-year anniversary of our company, and this is what the guys were wearing back in the late 70s. So it's a celebration here today at Mount Morris. We're bringing back the old gear. Well, all the guys that have been around since the old days, they all say that they remember this stuff, and they got kind of excited about it. And actually, everybody has been telling us, well, I have this old T-shirt, I've got this old hat. So it's sparked some memories, I think. The jerseys were made out of nylon with vent holes in it, real simple graphic. Actually, the panels were sewn on where the different colors are instead of printing. And the helmets were very basic designs. This one's only about 3 colors, and now they got really wild graphics with, you know, every color under the rainbow. So they're probably a lot more comfortable now, but this is the way it was then.
Well, we're getting ready for the start of Moto number 1 here at High Point Raceway at Mount Morris, and some of the most tense and exciting moments right now for the riders, John.
Well, this is where it all happens. We know in outdoor motocross that the start is everything. These guys are going to try for the hole shot. They're off. Let's see who gets that important hole shot out of turn 1.
Everybody makes it through cleanly through turn 1 as they come out around the first 5:10. Kevin Windham, a 16-year-old rookie rider, his second outdoor event only, has grabbed the hole shot, Jan.
Well, he's got a great start here, and all these young riders dream of getting a hole shot like this. Now we'll get to see if the Team Green rider, how long he can hold out in the first position.
Well, it looks like it may not be very long as he's got Ezra Lusk hot on his tail.
Now, Ezra Lusk hasn't had that great of starts recently, so he also got out of the gate well.
And you see Doug Henry also out of the gate pretty well. But this young man, Kevin Windham, with a great ride so far. Let's check in with Jerry, who is with Kevin's father.
What do you think? Kevin Windham, your kid, you're not even giving him a pit board. He's so far out in front.
There's a lot of racing left. Maybe this will do something for his confidence.
It's his second national?
Second national, yeah. I'm pretty excited at this point.
What do you think's going on in his mind right now?
I haven't the slightest idea.
He's out front. That's all he cares about. We'll see what happens.
Well, right now he's got to be feeling pretty good as Kevin Windham leads it, and looks like trouble out on the race course.
Well, Denny Stevenson is taking a tumble here. He did a huge cartwheel. Look, the crowd is cheering. Well, now it's the second time he's gone off in this race. He crashed in the second turn and then just did a huge cartwheel. Oh, man, he's hurting. But, you know, when you get applause, it doesn't hurt so bad.
That's true. I guess that kind of takes the hurt ride out of it. Makes you feel a little bit better. Someone who's not hurting right now is this young 16-year-old rider from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's only his second outdoor moto. He made his debut earlier this year at Gainesville. Right now, he's got to be having the time of his life.
He is. He's one of the Kawasaki Team Green riders. He's won amateur titles. He's come up in a very similar fashion to Robbie Raynard. As we see here, Ezra Lusk chasing him down.
What is he thinking about? He's got to know that everybody, all these big-name riders, are chasing him down. Does he have the mental attitude, you think, ready this early in his career to hold those guys off?
Well, it's too early to tell. Anytime you get a hole shot like that, the adrenaline is pumping so hard that right now he's just trying to just ride absolutely as hard as he can. Now, see, here's another guy, Craig Decker, who has been having good motos recently, and right now he's holding off Jeff Emig.
Now, you'd mentioned Robbie Raynard. He is right behind Jeff Emig. They got off to not exactly the type of start that they would like, and they're trying to work their way back up through the pack. But right now, Emig has his hands full trying to chase down Craig Decker. Remember, Decker had a great ride last week at Budds Creek, Maryland, but right now it looks like Emig is beginning to close in on him.
Well, they're side by side at the moment. This could be where he makes a move, but as we've seen before, Craig Decker does not give up easily. But Emig, Mr. 125 as they call him, he's on a roll, and he moves right by him.
Well, of course, good reason for Jeff Emig to be called Mr. 125. Already an overall win this year. You look at Steve Butler. He turns the wrenches on that Yamaha for Jeff Emig. 5 wins last year, 6 wins in 1992 when Jeff Emig won the title in the 125 class.
Now, of course, he's the only repeat winner we have this year as we see these riders go through the Bradshaw doubles. There's one. There's two. They have to double these. Here comes another, and then one more to finish it off.
A very aggressive run right there past the appreciative crowd on hand. Kevin Windham, the rookie, is leading it. We'll be right back.
Missing putts that add strokes? Correct bad habits. Putt with confidence guaranteed. The Pure Line Instructional Putter, a teaching aid that can take strokes off your game. Coaches and teaching pros use the Plip to create winning golfers. 4.5-star rating, one of the 10 best training aids.
The Plip makes you follow through, and that is the key to good putting, especially on those 4 or 5-footers.
I two-putt every green.
In 15 minutes with the Plip, I realized what I was doing wrong.
With the Plip, I putt with confidence.
I'm Sal Bandiero, and I'd like to show you how the Plip works. Plip's unique offset handle and recessed club face creates proper club alignment, short backswing, correct acceleration, complete follow-through. Remember, 40% of your game is played on the green.
Quality constructed, lifetime guarantee, made in the USA. Use your credit card or send check to this address. Order now and receive the Jack Nicklaus endorsed dictionary of
action today, and we've got the makings of a great race here as Kevin Windham, a 16-year-old, has grabbed the whole shot, and right now he's leading some of the hot and heavy competition. Ezra Lusk, 17 on the Suzuki, and number 1, the defending national champion, Doug Henry, on the Honda.
Now, the amazing thing is that Lusk is not able to stay with Windham. Windham, oh, look, here comes Henry.
Man, that was a great move as he just out-jumped Ezra Lusk to move back into first place. Remember, Henry having some stomach problems in the early part of the year, the defending national champ, not getting off to the kind of start that he would like to, but he's moved up into second place.
Yes, now we'll have to see if possibly he can catch Windham. This Windham kid is really going out front, and Doug Henry now is finally starting to regain some composure. Now, of course, we also have to say that Lusk has to get together here because of that huge crash he had at Budds Creek.
Has to get it together, try and gather as many points, get the best type of finish that he can. And Doug Henry still not out of the title chase as we look at Kevin Windham once again continuing to lead this pack. But, you know, Jan, it looks like Doug Henry, once he got around Ezra Lusk, has been able to close the gap a bit.
Yes, he's able to close that gap on Windham because now he has clear track ahead of him with the exception of the Kawasaki rider.
Well, Doug Henry, as you see Ezra Lusk come through, Ezra once again would like to get a great finish, but right now Doug Henry is moving his way toward the front. Let's check in with Jerry.
I don't know about you, but if I was Kevin Windham and knew the number 1 player, Doug Henry, was crawling on my butt at the halfway point, what do you think?
Well, I think the kid's going to ride a smart race, and he'll try to hang as long as he can. And hopefully my man can get around him.
Yeah. Looks like Doug's making some serious leeway there, cutting down.
Yeah, I feel that he's prepared for today, and if his stomach problem that we've had a couple of races holds up, he'll be in good shape.
All right, thanks, Pete.
Those stomach troubles that he mentioned for Doug Henry was diagnosed as a stomach virus, and he has to eat a very bland diet. He can't eat anything with any flavor. He's eating rice and bread and all kinds of things to try and get that stomach and get that adrenaline and get that endurance back up. And right now, it's been working in the first motos, but he's still struggling in the second motos.
So I guess pizza, even if it's on whole wheat crust, does not count as bland?
No, I don't think that's on his diet for right now. And he doesn't mind eating that kind of food if he can pull these kind of performances. Right there, you saw that they're singling that jump, but the 250s can make that uphill double. And some of these guys we've seen earlier, Doug Henry being one of those, is a guy who occasionally can land on top of that uphill jump.
Well, it looks like Doug Henry is slowly closing down the gap. Let's go back a little further in the top 5 to Steve Lamson, Henry's teammate, who is also the current points leader in the Outdoor 125 series. He came into Mount Morris enjoying a 14-point lead over Damon Huffman. Right now, he has moved into the top 5, running 4th currently.
Now, 4th place is not bad for Lamson. He didn't get a great start. If he can stay there, that's good for points, and I'm sure towards the end of this race, he'll be turning up the heat.
But speaking of turning up the heat, there's Kevin Windham, the leader, but right behind the 16-year-old rookie comes Doug Henry. You see that red Honda come in, and oh, there's a problem right there in the turn. Henry loses it. The bike will go down. He hops back on, gets it refired, and he is away, but he lost a lot of ground to Windham.
Well, the good news there is that the bike was still running. He didn't actually lose a position, but we can see Ezra Lusk did close the gap. Let's look at it. The whole bike slips out. He got on the power just a little too early, lost the front and the rear all at the same time, but thankfully, like we said, the thing was still running.
But once again, Ezra Lusk has closed in on Doug Henry. Remember that battle they had earlier on in his first moto. Lusk was actually second, and once Henry got around him, he was able to put some distance on him. We'll have to see if Doug Henry is able to fly away from Ezra Lusk once again. We're midway through moto number 1. Kevin Windham continues to lead it.
The new Volkswagen Golf features a track-correcting rear axle and an improved turning radius of just 32.5 feet, all of which makes the tight-handling Golf the perfect car for the city.
Cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, the cold one. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste,
You know, I've been looking for that.
the world is a very cool place. So get out of the old and get into the cold.
To you, the new Volkswagen Golf may not look more aerodynamic than a Porsche 928. But then, you're not a bug.
180 degrees east, 20 degrees south. An island outside of time, where mind and body test nature, and the spirit is reborn. ESPN2's Adventure Island Contest. Your chance to explore the outer depths and test the inner soul. You and 10 companions of your choosing will discover Marlin Bay, Fiji. To enter, call 1-900-535-ISLAND, 95 cents per call. No purchase or phone call necessary. You must be 21 or over. To enter by mail, hand print your name, address, age, and home phone on a 3x5 card and send it to ESPN2's Adventure Island Contest, P.O. Box 2387, Redondo Beach, California, 90278. ESPN2's Adventure Island Contest. God created life. It's up to you to live it. Brought to you by Light Ice from Miller. More of what you want, less of what you don't.
We're back at High Point Raceway, Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, and Doug Henry being pursued hotly by Ezra Lusk. And there's the points leader, Steve Lamson, who's done a good job hanging on to that fourth position.
Well, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He didn't get a great start, but he's trying to save a little bit of energy, see if he can move up a couple positions and get some more valuable points.
Speaking of those valuable points, Doug Henry, who won 3 overall events last year, still looking for his first moto victory of the season. He rides along in second place. But, you know, I mentioned earlier, he's not out of the points championship. He came in only 26 points behind, and we're only in the 4th race of the year.
Well, of course, the way he performed last year, we know he has the talent to do this, but it has been a physical conditioning problem with that stomach virus we talked about. He's getting stronger and stronger every race. We saw him slip there. Can he catch Kevin Windham, which at the moment he's just checked out?
Man, Kevin Windham, you got to wonder, though, how much gas he's got. This is only his second outdoor professional event, and the toll, I mean, it's got to take its toll on him.
Well, those guys, when they ride the amateur series, which he has won titles in, they do run 30-minute motos, so he will be used to it, but he's never had this kind of pressure.
I guess you could say that when he's been riding in the amateur motos, he has been the man to beat. He's the guy who's been putting the pressure on the other riders. But right now, Doug Henry trying to put the pressure on the leader, 16-year-old Kevin Windham. We're up on the Damon Branch. Oh, my goodness, look at that. Ezra Lusk is off the course.
Well, look at that presence of mind to strip that banner. Now, it looks like he's given up. He hasn't. What he did there, he has to slow down and make sure that he did not gain a position. If you go off course and don't pick up a position, as we see on the replay here, he came down a little crossed up and decided rather than crash, just go off course, lose a position. We see Lamson come through. He'll be back on the gas, and he will retain now 1 spot back.
Yeah, but Ryan Hughes is looking to move in. Hughes running along in the 5th position as he will now set his sights on Ezra Lusk. And you see Robbie Rayner, that's someone else we hadn't talked about much today, another young rider in his 2nd season as a professional. But right now, Ryan Hughes trying to overtake Ezra Lusk for that 4th position.
Now, Ryan Hughes has had some great races. He's one of the few riders that each time we watch in these motos, he works from the back and comes up. He has been really tough this year.
Well, Ryan Hughes has been improving every week. Doug Henry has also been improving, but Mr. Consistency has been just that, consistent. Let's check in his pits.
Okay, Lammy was in 4th for a while, but he's putting on a good charge. I don't think he wants to be out of that top 3 spot.
No, that's what we're trying for, to stay up in the top 3 all the time. It seems like Lusk just jumped off the track over there.
Yeah.
Took a little long way around.
Lammy's looking strong.
Yeah, he is. That's where we hope to be.
Almost one down, and then the next moto we'll see.
That's right.
Well, thank you very much, Jerry Bernardo. Doug Henry, a man on a mission as he tries to chase down Kevin Windham. And just looking back over at last year's, he has a little problem there. Last year at Mount Morris, he finished 2nd overall, 2nd and 3rd. And there's the man who tunes that Honda. Pete Steinbrecher does an excellent job.
As Doug Henry came down that hill, we saw the bike jumping from side to side. He's nice and loose on the bike, but the bike is slipping out from under him. He's obviously pushing very hard to try and catch Windham.
Wasn't earlier in the year at Gainesville, didn't he have a tight
and he's just having to try and keep that momentum going. Now we see Lusk and also Ryan Hughes going at it.
And that's a battle for 4th. Lusk has it, but Ryan Hughes would like to have it. Ezra Lusk trying to hang on to that position as he comes around that right-hander. He gets a little bit of advantage and scoots away as they'll come up the hill on a small double jump right there.
As they come around, you can see that on the uphill sections of an outdoor course, you have nice camber, you have nice banking to hold you. But when you get at the bottom of the hill, you have these darn off-camber turns right here. Look how careful they are. Very careful with the clutch and with the power.
Now, we talked about the off-camber turns last week, and right there, look at that. Ezra Lusk, that was that double, the uphill double. Call it the David Bailey double, I guess we could, where we saw most everybody singling it, but Ezra Lusk did a double.
Yes, our own colleague David Bailey was the first one to double that, and it is fairly easy now with the new 250s, but it's really a job here on the 125s. The interesting thing, Lusk was singling that. Then he felt the pressure from Ryan Hughes. Now he's harder on the gas. You can see that he's going for it.
Well, he knows that the Moto #1 is just about to come to an end as Hughes gets on the inside, tries to make the move for the 4th position, but Ezra comes away with it.
Well, when you have an off-camber turn like that, if you go to the inside, you can't get the traction, and Lusk was on the outside and had the berm, had a much harder drive. These Bradshaw doubles are great. I'll tell you, your timing has to be perfect.
I'll tell you one other thing that's perfect about those doubles. The fans get some of the most exciting shots there. Look at everybody here, Jan. There are more than 10,000 people gathered here for this event, and they have had some great racing to watch.
Well, you can hear them cheering right now, and these riders can hear the fans cheer. I tell you, when you start getting tired, especially in the second moto, that will be what motivates these guys, is the fans cheering them on.
Something that's motivating Ryan Hughes right now is the 4th spot that Ezra Lusk occupies. Ryan trying to make a bid for it.
Now, talk about motivation. He has, as we see him come alongside, oh, didn't quite have the line, but man, he is trying hard. He has dedicated, oh, he goes to the inside. They're side by side. He has dedicated this season to his father, who passed away this year, and he is motivated to win these races in memory of his father, and he's done just that.
Well, right now, Ryan Hughes has moved around Ezra Lusk into the 4th position, and you could hear the fans cheering wildly. We are in the closing stages. In fact, we'll be right back with the final laps. Kevin Windham continues to lead.
This programming is brought to you in part by fees paid by your local cable company.
The final lap, rookie Kevin Windham, age 16 years old, out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, is looking to win his first moto as a professional.
I'll tell you what, to go out and win your first moto, but look at the fans. What they're doing is they're cheering on Doug Henry, because Doug Henry is possibly close enough, because the last lap here is a long way. And look, you can tell that Windham is tiring, and here comes Doug Henry.
In fact, Doug Henry made up probably about 50 yards right there as they came up the hill around that one left-hand turn. And we spoke about it before, the conditioning. Could Kevin Windham be tiring on the final lap? But what a time to do it.
Yeah, you can see he is definitely tiring, but man, you only have one lap to go. It's so rare you have an opportunity to win, and especially only in your second moto. But here comes Doug Henry.
Doug Henry on the outside. They come over the jump, and he gets his slide advantage. They go up the hill to the left-hander. Henry has the preferred line, and Doug Henry, the defending champion in the 125 outdoor class, has taken over the lead. But, man, what a ride for Kevin Windham.
Well, Kevin Windham just let him go. Obviously, he is absolutely exhausted. He just stood up and said, go ahead. I just can't stay ahead of you any longer. But, boy, you have to take your helmet off, I guess you would say, to this young rider. He has done a great job. Now, if Henry continues the way he is doing, this will be his first victory of the year.
His first victory in a moto, and it will set him up in good position for the second moto to try and win the overall title. But Doug Henry, the defending champion, in charge right now as he is pulling away from a very tired, worn-out Kevin Windham.
And that shows why you have to always push just as hard as you can. If Doug Henry had not kept pushing Kevin Windham, he would not have been able to tire him out. But he kept pushing, and look, it paid off for him here at the very end. And he's waving to the crowd. This is the first time we've seen a guy celebrate going over the jumps as he finishes, gets it crossed up. Doug Henry with the victory.
And let's take a look at how they finished up. Of course, Henry with the win in Moto 1. But Kevin Windham, what a ride. And then Lammy, a very consistent third-place finish. Ryan Hughes moves into 4th, and Robbie Raynard is 5th. Rounding out the top 10, Lusk, Emick, Huffman, Sheik, and Gaddis.
Hey, Doug, Kevin Windham had a killer hole shot, but you were whipping it up pretty strong. They went into the last turn. You come around. I couldn't see. What happened?
I don't know. You know, I went up in the back section, and he kind of slid out, and
I kept my momentum going around the outside of him. My Honda really pulled up that hill, and I was able to pass him.
So it was just persistence and a little bobble and got you on that last lap, huh?
Yeah, he made a mistake, and I was right there.
How'd you feel during the whole moto?
I felt good. You know, this is the best I felt in a long time. Hopefully, you know, moto number 2, I'll feel the same.
Well, that's what we like to hear, and you're looking styling in the 20-year Fox gear.
You like that? Retro.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much, Jerry. A little bit of a retro look, but speaking of looking, let's look toward the future. Kevin Windham, 16-year-old with his second place finish. Jerry has caught up with him.
And killer hole shot. Your old man didn't even have an answer for me when I asked him, what do you think's going through his mind? He goes, I have no idea. You tell me. It was your second outdoor national. What was going through your mind with that hole shot and leading the race?
Man, it was so nerve-wracking up there on the line, but I was just thinking to get out there, get a good hole shot, and not force anything out there. Right now, you know, just now coming up, I don't really have any goals. I just want to go out there, want to ride as smooth as possible and not let these guys get to your head, because when you're lined up next to people like Doug Henry and them, they really work on your brain.
Yeah, well, I think you showed them what you got deep down inside, because you put on an impressive moto there. Little bobble on the last lap. Can you tell us about it?
I'm so tired. I can't even hold on to this water bottle, but I got time to work on that. Like I said, my main goal is just go out there and, you know, make sure I don't get nervous, but I definitely got to start working out and stuff if I'm going to last the whole 30 minutes.
All right, good job, Kevin. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you, Jerry. Well, Kevin looks worn out. We'll see if he's ready for moto number 2, and that is coming up next. The great second-place finish in moto number 1, getting a few words of advice from Ron Heben, the Team Green manager.
Well, probably what he's telling them is he's saying, now this time, don't run so far out front because you lose all your TV time. You got to battle up there so we keep you on camera.
Well, we also talked about how tired he was. These guys have to have a place to relax between motos, and Jerry has found it.
Okay, Jeff, I'm just going to sit down. I want you to tell us about the facility here. You do your work.
Okay, here we have, you know, we got your basic lounge here. This is where we all lounge around. You know, we got a bathroom and a shower and sink, and over here we got a full computer system for all of the, you know, all of the race results and all that kind of stuff. TV, VCR, mic gear on the phone, mobile fax, full rack stereo, you know, microwave.
This is the life of a factory rider.
Yeah, this is it. This is, you know, there's no doubt that it's better than, you know, than the box vans that we used to work out of. You know, it's just a whole lot bigger, whole lot roomier, and it keeps everybody more as a team.
I'd like to say something. There's other sections to this. This is just the lounge region, of course, the bathroom, the shower. What's up there?
Upstairs we have locker areas and everything. You guys can come on up. Yeah, grand tour. Come on, follow me. Okay, this is it. This is my area. This is where I hang out. I do my stuff. I got my own stereo. You know, I got all my space, all my stuff. I chose the spot at the end so I have more room.
What do you listen to?
You really don't want to know right now. It's a little. It's not really me, but I like Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Doggy Dogg.
No, I got some Nirvana, some Gin Blossoms, Peter Frampton. You know, Frampton Comes Alive.
The off sleeves, we get some hockey sticks. What do you do in the off time?
Tell everybody. While I'm on the road, most of the time, you know, to try to find an ice rink or something, you know, to go skate at. I play a little bit of amateur hockey.
Can we get a soundbite on this? And I do mean bite, no pun intended.
He's silly.
Silly like that. Okay, and Mike Craig, you, who else?
That's it right now. It's me and Mike Craig. You know, this is our area. This is where we change. You know, this is where we come to think.
I like this where he has to hold the microphone and I get just to eat the fruit. Thanks for the tour. That's it, Team Yamaha box band. They got it going on. Snoop Doggy Dogg would say that. Does Snoop watch motocross?
Yeah, I think he rides a little.
Let's get out of here.
Mike Brown, and as you see, Ezra Lusk in third position right there. We've got the makings for a dandy show.
Well, they're all packed together. All it takes is one of these guys to really stay on the gas, get on the brakes a little bit later, squirt to the inside, and we'll see a change of position.
Well, Ezra Lusk comes into this race. He is tied for 5th in the points. He does have a victory, a moto victory, not an overall victory this year, but he has shown some promising signs of doing a really good job in contending for the title. He's one of the riders, as we've said all along, not out of it yet.
Ezra Lusk is trying to regain some momentum as we see Ed Longacre, who works on that machine. You see him talking on the radio there. He's not talking to Ezra. He's probably checking with another spotter somewhere around the course.
And what they're doing is checking to see just how far behind Ezra is. Ed would have the message board, and he would be able to write down a message to give Ezra a look at how he's progressing.
Oh, as we see Gaddis come to the inside there, he actually got by Emig. Oh, Emig comes right back.
Oh, here's another great race for the fans, and it's happening right up along where a lot of the fans with campers and trucks have gathered to watch. Oh, my goodness, Jimmy Gaddis has crashed in the whoops. He got just a little bit out of shape, and we certainly hope he's all right. He looks like he's shaken up. He rolls off of the course. Man, that happened in a bad place.
Well, what happened is he got a little bit crossed up on the first whoop-de-doo. The second one got him really screwed up, and then, wow, look at him fly. And as we've talked about earlier, when you see a rider look like a rag doll, when he's flopping around all over the place, that's because they know if they relax, they have less chance of breaking bones.
Well, we certainly hope that he gets up okay. Right now, we're looking at Mike Brown in a battle for second place. It looks like Ryan Hughes has moved up on him and is trying to pressure him for that spot.
Well, you know, Mike Brown, as we talked about, who does have a Supercross victory this year, this is the best performance we've seen him on the outdoors, and we know that Ryan Hughes is the guy who every single moto that we watch, he just works his way up through the field. Oh, as he comes down to the inside, but this is an off-camber section. Looks like Mike Brown didn't get the drive that he wanted, and Ryan Hughes comes through.
Ryan Hughes has moved into that spot, and you know, Ryan Hughes, one of the riders who should have won a race, but look at this right now as Ezra Lusk and Doug Henry going for the lead, and it looks like Ezra Lusk is going to take it after they go through those Bradshaw doubles.
Well, they're looking, oh, look at this. He comes right back. They're looking at each other as they're flying through the air, says, I see you're there. And wow, boy, was that a response from Doug Henry.
Man, what a move it was as he simply out-jumped him. Doug Henry pulling away just a little bit from Ezra Lusk, as we will be back with more in just a moment. Point Raceway, and Ezra Lusk has moved around Doug Henry to take over the lead.
Well, Doug Henry, this is the time he's always had trouble. He falls back in the second motos. We don't know if he's having trouble with his bike. We don't know if it's still a physical problem. But now, Ryan Hughes gets off the track.
But, Jan, he did not lose a position. He maintains that spot. Right now, Ezra Lusk has moved out into the lead. Let's check into his pits.
We've seen your man, Ezra Lusk, stalking the #1 plate of Doug Henry, and he made the movies out front.
Well, we're trying. We didn't quite have the first moto. Had to make a few adjustments, but he says he's ready for this one, so we'll see. Right now, he's in front.
We're getting into some lappers. Think it'll be a problem?
I don't think so. I think the front runner's pace is going too fast, and there's plenty of places here to pass. The track's real good today. Well, we'll see what happens.
All right, good luck, Ed.
Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Jerry Bernardo. There you get a look at Doug Henry, who's falling back just a little bit. Ezra Lusk has managed to get around, take over the lead, and Ezra, Yogi as they like to call him, is pulling away just a little bit. But look at Ryan Hughes looking to really put on the pressure on Doug Henry.
Yeah, what it looks like Doug Henry is the one that's slowing down a little bit. Look, this was a one-groove area. Now they've moved it into 2 grooves. Ryan Hughes, we always say this, he is a charger, and he moves up in every moto. If he could just get the starts like these other guys, he'd be winning these things.
Hey, it's always good when I talk to you. That means Rhino's moving up. He must have put some moves. Henry dropped back to 3rd. Now Rhino's in 2nd behind Lusk.
Yeah, I told him don't wait, because in these nationals, the first part of the moto makes a big spread, so you can't wait 1 minute. He got pinned for the first 15 minutes and settle into a pace, and that's what he's doing.
The kid's fast. The bike runs good. He's strong.
Yeah, he can hold on. We hopefully pray to God we can get this.
He's got all the ingredients. You never know what'll happen.
No, you never know. Just keep my fingers crossed. It's best for the rest of luck.
Well, they're hoping to hang on to that second place, but you've got Doug Henry in 3rd, and look who's worked his way up into 4th, Jeff Emig.
Jeff Emig didn't get a great start, but now he's trying to do what Ryan Hughes has been doing so well, and that is moving through the pack. He looks aggressive. He closed this gap very, very quickly. We'll have to see if it is Doug Henry that's fading or Emig really turning up the gas.
Well, look who's turning up the gas right now. Ryan Hughes. Chad Walls was talking about hanging on, hoping he can hang on to 2nd place. Right now, he has caught the leader, Ezra Lusk. They'll come around that left-hander into the whoops. Lusk holding a slim advantage right now. You see Doug Henry moving into the picture. And look at Ryan Hughes. He goes for the lead. He gets the inside line and takes over the spot.
Well, you know, Ryan Hughes got aggressive in the very place that he rode off the course earlier. But look, Ezra Lusk is not giving up. He's going around the outside. He might have position for this next corner.
I think he tried to get in just a little bit too tight right there, Jan. That allows Hughes to get back by. And, you know, the fans are loving it. You can hear them cheering all over this racetrack. But Ryan Hughes has now assumed command of the lead.
Well, his mechanic was saying, I hope we just hang on to second place. Now he's leading. I bet he's saying, man, I hope we can hang on to the victory. It would be the first for Ryan Hughes.
Well, I think this might be the first time this year that we've had 3 leaders, different leaders, midway through one of these motos, and it is shaping up to be a very exciting finish. Ezra Lusk, you see Doug Henry and Jeff Emig still working on Doug Henry. Henry, of course, winning moto number 1. He's wanting to hang on for the overall victory to score his first overall victory of the year.
Well, you know, there's also 4 different bikes in the picture right there. You have a Kawasaki leading, and then you have a Suzuki, then followed by a Honda, and then a Yamaha. So all 4 manufacturers in the top 4.
Now, as we talk about the tight racing here, of course, we did have some tight racing in the first moto, but they'll take the bikes back, and they'll talk to their mechanics, and they'll do some tuning, won't they?
Well, you know, they say the track conditions are such, they'll change some shocks, they'll change a few things here and there, but really it comes down to these guys picking lines. As we see, Jeff Emig is now working, and he's got by him.
Man, that was a great double jump to see him coming over there, and it looks like Ezra Lusk is wanting to make a bid for the lead once again. This is just, oh, look at Ryan Hughes. Out jumps Ezra Lusk, goes to the inside, moves back out in front.
There's nobody that feels more pressure right now, as we see Jeff Emig's crew chief, than Ryan Hughes. Ryan Hughes wants to win one of these so bad. Anytime you're leading a race, it is so rare that you have an opportunity to win one. And Jeff Emig is our man. He just swooped by Ezra Lusk.
I tell you, they're making that inside groove on that turn work. We'd seen everybody in Moto 1 and Moto 2 working that outside groove. It's the fast way around, but Jeff Emig showed right there, if you hit it just right, you can make the move.
And, you know, Ryan Hughes and Jeff Emig have had some great battles this year, and right now Ryan Hughes is hoping that he can keep this position. And like we said before, there's no real love lost here because there have been a few contacts, there have been some tight moments between the Kawasaki and the Yamaha rider.
Well, Jeff Emig is trying to chase him down. I tell you, it's just a lot of great action up front. Rarely do you see this kind of action up front as you reach the mid to latter stages, as you see telling Ryan Hughes to, come on, Rhino, let's go, let's go. You got Emig, Mr. 125, riding hot on your tail.
Well, what that was is, come on, let's pick it up a little. Let's pick it up a little. That's what that sign means. And right now, you don't really want to be leading from a pressure standpoint. You'd rather be chasing. And Jeff Emig right now knows he's putting a tremendous amount of pressure. And, man, he's ready to make a move.
Is this just pure adrenaline that's driving these riders right now?
Well, the crowd is going crazy right now. Look at them. They're cheering him on. And it is the crowd that really right now is motivating Jeff Emig.
Well, right now, it is Ryan Hughes who has the lead. We'll go over the whoops. It looks like Emig's cutting into it just a little bit. Ezra Lusk is starting to fade just a tad. But, man, we are setting up for one of the most exciting finishes of the year so far. We'll be back with the closing laps in just a moment. Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. Jan Beekes, Jerry Bernardo, and John Kernan bringing you all the exciting action on a sunny, hot day near the Pennsylvania-West Virginia border. And speaking of hot, the action really heating up. Ryan Hughes in the lead, but Jeff Emig is making a bid for it. He's just following him every lap, lap after lap, looking for a mistake to take advantage of it.
Well, what he is doing, he is a master at saving energy. Right now, he is riding with less energy than Ryan Hughes, and he's putting pressure on him. When you have somebody right on your rear tire there, it really brings the adrenaline, brings the heart rate up, and he's just waiting for a mistake from Hughes.
And also, there's some slower bikes, a couple of them in front. We'll have to see if that comes into play. Right now, Hughes gets around him. They'll head down the hill. Remember, this is that off-camber turn, and we've seen Ryan have some problems going through there.
Well, he takes the very tight inside line. It looks slower from that camera angle, but it looks like he actually pulled a little bit of distance on Emig through that section. There, Emig closed on that uphill, what we're calling the David Bailey special.
The David Bailey special. I tell you, for a 120, and look, Emig on the inside moves around, and Rhino going to the outside, and Jeff Emig has moved back out in front. But Ryan Hughes, remember Chad Wall said earlier they hope to hang on to second place. They're back in second now, but Rhino has had a taste of the lead. He's still looking for his first moto win of the season. He dips back down to the inside. Emig holding on to the lead, but very, very closely, and it looks like Rhino is going to drag him out of the corner and take over the top spot again.
Well, Ryan Hughes, as we know, we see him just kick the bike sideways. Right now, they lost a little momentum before they got to these doubles, and look what happened. Ryan Hughes got on the power and pulled out a little bit of distance. Now Jeff Emig's going way high, trying to set him up for a pass.
Well, once again, Jeff Emig will not worry. He will not panic, even though we're in the closing stages. You'll see someone from the Split Fire Pro Circuit Hot Wheels team urging Ryan Hughes on, but getting back to Emig, he will not panic. He won't push the panic button. He knows there's still plenty of time left to catch Rhino and get around him. Once again, he'll go to the inside, sweeps around, and moves back out in front.
Boy, this is some tight quarters, and when I asked Jeff Emig the kind of riding that he liked to do, did he like Supercross or did he like the outdoors? He says, if I had my choice, I'd ride in the forest between the trees. He likes the tight quarters, and right now you can't get any tighter than this.
I tell you, from that one camera angle where we saw them come around that sweeping turn, it almost looked like a flat track turn. But right now, Jeff Emig has moved out in front. Ryan Hughes is in second. We are in the closing stages of Moto number 2. Emig, of course, finishing 7th in the first Moto of the day. He would like to come away with the overall win, but Doug Henry, who's been fading fast, has not dropped back far enough. Emig will probably not do better than second or third overall if he can hang on.
Well, right now they're just thinking about moto victories because Ryan Hughes, we know he's a Charger. We know that Jeff Emig is a Charger. We have both of the most aggressive riders we've seen for a while, 1-2, and you can bet this battle is not over.
Well, Ryan Hughes had a great first moto. He wound up with a 4th place finish. Right now he hangs on in 2nd place. Jeff Emig trying to use every bit of his experience as Mr. 125. We look back a little bit. Ezra Lusk has kind of fallen away from this pack. He was up there contending for a while, but he has dropped back some.
That's because, whoa, we see him go. That was what we're talking about. That's the big double that the 125s can just land on top of. And then, of course, the 250s can make it all the way over. He's taking the outside lane here, which seems to be working pretty well. We can see his teammate, Huffman, might be closing on him.
Well, you talk about points. Damon Huffman came into this race at Mount Morris. He was only 14 points behind the points leader, Steve Lamson. Now he's moved up into the 4th position, and he has his sights set on his teammate trying to take over that spot. But back up front, it looks like Emig has pulled a little bit of a distance on Ryan Hughes.
Look at that fella. He's getting right out there. The fans in motocross can get right on the edge of the circuit cheering their favorite rider on. That's one thing you can't do in auto racing, but boy, you can do it with motorcycles. These fans are into this race.
I tell you what, some of the stock car races and things I've been to, I don't think I'd want to stand that close to the action. Or IndyCar races, I've seen you guys run too.
Well, I tell you what, you get a whole face full of mud if you get too close here. But right now, some great action between the two Suzuki teammates. We'll have to see. There's different lines being used. It looks like Huffman has more of a drive, has more of a rhythm, and right now it looks like Lusk is the one fading back.
Well, perhaps Damon Huffman has paced himself, saved a little bit for the end. You know, in watching this, comparing the laps here late in the race to earlier on in the moto, they don't look like they've slowed up at all.
Well, we heard some of the mechanics talk about you set a pace at the beginning and then you just stay with it. And these two guys, anything they have left, they do lots of training. Both these two guys have a really strict regimen as far as training, running, biking, lifting weights, and right now that's paying off.
And you can hear the crowd cheering as the two Suzuki teammates will come through the whoops. Now, this is a point in time you forget that you're riding with your teammate.
Well, that's right. These guys train together on occasions, but right now, you know, when you go to the race, John, the one guy you want to absolutely make sure you beat is your teammate. If you get beat by another factory rider, you figure, well, maybe they had better machinery. But these two guys are on identical machines with the exceptions of they can choose different forks, they can choose different shock settings, but really, they have available to them exactly the same stuff.
Well, Huffman at Sacramento a couple of weeks ago, he made a change in the front forks and what became the first rider in a while to win an outdoor moto with the shocks turned the conventional way.
Well, what's happening is Suzuki is trying upside down and conventional. They've run them so many different ways, it's hard to know what you actually call conventional now, but it all comes down, he goes for it, and he makes it. It looks like Huffman is not making that jump, but Lusk is, and look, we're back at the lead. Right now, it is Ryan Hughes that's close enough to try and take it back from Emig.
Well, we are on the final lap. It looks like Ryan Hughes trying to make a bid for the lead. We look back into third place. It looks like Ezra Lusk is beginning to pull away. That David Bailey special. Lusk, the only rider we've seen all day, has been able to execute that double almost to perfection, where he lands just at the top of the hill. Everybody else doing a single on it. But it looks like Lusk now trying to finish third. Ryan Hughes is in second. They'll come over. The Bradshaw jumps, and yes, Jeff Emig waves to the crowd, both hands off the handlebars as he takes the checkered flag. Emig will win the moto. That's his third moto win of the year. And Ryan Hughes will finish second on the Kawasaki. Then it's Ezra Lusk, holds off his Suzuki teammate Damon Huffman for third place. Doug Henry, the Honda rider, is fifth. Tim Ferry, James Dobb, Mike Brown, Steve Lamson, and Craig Decker rounded out.
You and just Emig were going ballistic near the end there. He was hot on your tail. What did it feel like with him right behind you like that?
Didn't get too good a start this weekend, so I had to ride my ass off. But, you know, he was behind me. I just tried sticking my lines. I felt fine. I wasn't getting tired or anything. I kept telling myself not to get tired. You know, you're not getting tired. You're in better shape than these guys. But he rode smooth. I rode smooth. He passed me, and I just couldn't get back around him. You know, he rode a good race, so he deserved it.
How was the track treating you guys out there? Getting all chopped up? It looked really fast.
Yeah, the track was a little choppy. They graded some sections, so it wasn't too bad. But, you know, some of the corners got real choppy, but I think that helps me out because, you know, I think I'm a better rider late in the moto. So, you know, I like the track today. They did a really good job. They watered it, kept the dust down, and the racing was perfect.
Did you hear the fans?
Yeah, the fans were going crazy. These guys are nuts out here.
Yeah.
You know, I like coming here. These guys really get into this race. You know, it's better than any other track. I think all the other promoters should, you know, take a little pointer from these guys from the Coons family because they put on a really good show, and, you know, that's what's going to make motocross a better sport and, you know, make it more popular for us.
Thank you, Jerry. Taking a look at the overall results, Doug Henry, a fifth and a first, finishes #1 overall. Then it's Ryan Hughes, Jeff Emig, Ezra Lusk, and Steve Lamson rounding out the top 5. Wyndham, Huffman, Dobb, Ferry, and Decker to complete the top 10. Let's check in with Jerry.
Jeff Emig, winner of the second moto. I was just talking to Rhino. He said, man, you guys had the killer battle going off. Fans were screaming, choppy track.
Oh, yeah, track was just rough as can be on the crowd. You know, I mean, there are so many people here, and it is so loud. I mean, I couldn't do nothing but win, man, when they started cheering me on.
You like this place anyhow, right? You said that earlier. You really like this track. People said you go good here.
Yeah, you know, I wish I could have did a little better in that first moto. I think I ended up about a 7th, and, you know, but I came out and I wanted to win that second moto, man, no matter what. I was giving it to Barry.
Yeah, you were out there, I don't know, you were running about 5th or so, and you just kept crawling and crawling by the end of the moto. Look who's out front.
Yeah, you know, I was pretty far back off the start, you know, and I don't know, you know, I just kept these guys inside, you know, and I kept giving it 100%, you know, and I ended up winning the moto.
Well, it was a good show with you and Rhino. Thanks a lot for your participation here at the famed Highway Raceway.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry. Lamson extended his lead over Huffman by 1 point, but look at that. 27 points separates the top 5. Let's check back in with you.
Doug, congratulations. Overall winner at High Point Outdoor National. How'd you feel about that?
I feel really good to go out there and get the overall. I was glad I got the first moto win, and we should have done better in the second one.
What happened on the second moto? You went out strong and then kind of vaulted a little bit. What was up with that?
I don't know. There's something wrong with my bike, and there's a jumping section up top here, and we land, and you got to take off again, and I kept having problems with it. It kind of would cut out on me, and you know, Pete Steinbrecher, he does a great job, and I'm sure he'll figure out what's wrong with it.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, you felt strong insofar as being in shape and stuff.
Yeah, I feel a lot better. I think I'm starting to come on strong, and we'll wait and see. You know, this is the first one I felt really good at, so hopefully we'll see next weekend.
I was going to say the bottom line though is the overall numero uno, primo in Italian, #1, the winner. And you got a little. Let me get that dirt off your teeth.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, the fans are cheering, but they're not cheering for Jerry for picking Doug Henry's teeth. Actually, they're cheering the Honda rider with his first overall victory. Out comes the champagne.
This is the greatest time for a rider. This is a very great day for him. But let's also think about Ryan Hughes. He has sent a message. He's going to be in Victory Circle, I think, in no time.
Well, that could come as early as next week. And that's about all the time we have for this one as he steps up onto the podium. For Jan Beekes and Jerry Bernardo, I'm John Kernan saying so long from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania.